Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, and we get into one of the records. We get into the music, lyrics, how it was made, and everything in between. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. So what are we doing today, Jeff? Go!
We're doing Valient Thorr and the Total Universe Mans.
Total Universe Man from 2005. This was released June 7th, 2005, second record. The only album to feature Jin Thor on rhythm guitar. And so yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into Valient Thorr. Really, why we're doing Valient Thorr this week is because we've done a lot of bands over the last few weeks that we needed a palate cleanser. Because we both know we like Valient Thorr. We love Valient Thorr. And we needed a palate cleanser, and this is a good one. So that's why we're doing
I want to hear you say Stain was shit and Kiss was shit.
Stain was shit. Kiss, for the most part, was shit.
Good.
What did we do before Stained? I forgot what we did before Stained. Because Stained was a Spite episode. That was the only reason why we did it.
Yeah, for that shit fucking guy on YouTube. That
shit 311 guy,
yeah.
But anyway, Valient Thorr. That's what we're doing this week. Total Universe, man. What's your origin story with this band? What do you got? Go.
Readjust our entire lives just to like spite some guy that we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Fucking YouTube.
And in which he'll never listen to the Stained episode, but it was a fun exercise. Some might say, like a professional would say, it was a good exercise.
It was a fun exercise. I'm glad we did it. I'm more glad we did Stained than Kiss, to be honest. I feel like I learned more from Stained and Kiss. I almost like lost respect for the guys that love Kiss. Whereas like Stained, like I get it if they got a couple records, whatever. Like if you follow that dude and you like his politics, I get it. But like Kiss, like nah, dude, no free passes for that one. Anyway, origin story. Honestly, I don't know. I was trying to think about it all week. I don't know when the first time it was. It had to have been through you because I never knew who this band was. But I do remember at one point it just became part of our daily routine to just either quote the spoken word part or to just say the stupid fucking lines that are riddled throughout this record. And it just became a part of our friend group to the point where like even other, like again, this is one of the records that people that people in our friend group that don't listen to this type of music would also like this band because we played it so much and we loved it so much. And it was so damn funny that everybody liked it.
Yeah, fun and
but
catchy.
I don't know when the first time was.
All right. Yeah, my origin story, I know you heard about them through me because when I first heard of them and saw them, they were opening up for Bullets and Octane at the House of Blues in Anaheim. This is Bullets and Octane when it was their record release show of In the Mouth of the Young. This was I looked up the date. It was in April of 2006. They played right before Bullets.
Right there.
Peak Bullets, man. Yeah, well, it was the record release show for In
peak
the Mouth
Bullets.
of the Young. And Annie and I went to that show, and we'd never heard of Valient Thorr, but we got there early to watch the opening bands. And yeah, Valient Thorr just they knocked us on our asses. Like Annie and I were truly blown away by this band. Like it was something we had never seen before. So we saw them at House of Blues opening for them, and then I remember too when Bullets played that night, Gene came out and he was wearing like this neon yellow Valient Thorr shirt, just like supporting the opening band because he fucking loved them too. Because how could you not love Valient Thorr? So yeah, that was a cool night. And then I saw them again about 5 or 6 months later. They opened up for Google Bordello at the House of Blues as well. I think it was like in November or December of 2006 as well. So I saw them twice that year. And then I've seen them periodically over the years. And then the last time I saw them was 2011 or 2010 maybe. It was when you were still living in Portland. And I drove up to Portland, and then you went to go take the bar exam because you wanted to be a lawyer.
Like a little bitch.
So you went to go take the bar exam, and you're like, I can't go out and drink with you guys tonight. I know you guys are seeing Valient Thorr, but I just can't go. I got to wake up early. So then myself and friend of the pod, Palmer, we went out to the bar. It was Dante's Bar or something like that?
It was Dante's something, like Dante's Peak, Inferno, something.
So some bar in Portland, and we saw Valient Thorr there. That was actually the last time I saw him. So it was 2010 or 2011.
Dude, talk about like just go back a little bit. Talk about dedication, right? Like that was I chose school over fun.
You chose school over fun.
That's
Well, I mean,
crazy.
that's literally why you moved to Portland, right?
Yeah.
Was to take like some like law classes.
I went to Portland State. Took a bunch of pre-law classes, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be
That's
a
what it was
lawyer.
pre-law. Yeah.
And then that turned out to be stupid because that's dumb. Who wants to be a fucking lawyer?
Yeah. But now you own a fucking record store, and that's way fucking cooler. So
Yeah, but I miss Valient Thorr.
you did miss Valiant Thor that night.
In
Yeah,
a
you did.
city that's maybe like the coolest city in the U.S. at that time.
Yes, Portland was pretty cool in 2010. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's worthless.
But so yeah, I mean that's my origin story with Valiant Thor was really when they opened up for Bullets and Octane in 2006, early 2006. Really, honestly, what is that? April of 06, so 19 years ago, almost 19 years ago to the day.
Yeah.
I saw Valiant Thor, so that's cool. But yeah, I mean, once I saw them, I immediately bought their CD online because they weren't. I don't know why I didn't buy the CD at the show. I think I was just too hyped up on the night.
First of all, we were young and like money wasn't as disposable as
That's
it is
true
now.
too. Yeah, I was in 06. We were 19. Yeah, we were 19.
Yeah.
So I was still working. Damn, dude, I was working at Tower Records at the time. Yeah, I was working at Tower Records.
How much you make per hour at Tower Records back in
Tower
the day?
Records, $7 an hour.
Yeah, like the CD was still
So,
$20.
Yeah, so I bought it. I didn't buy it at Tower Records, but because I had to order it online. So I did buy what's the Legends of the World. I did buy the second Valiant Thor record when I worked at Tower Records. But anyway, yeah, that's my origin story. Valiant Thor, great
Good.
fucking band. So let's get into our initial thoughts on this band. Initial thoughts on this record, Total Universe Man from 2005, second record, June 2005. What do you got? Go.
I also want to say that that was kind of like the last era of music where like you could open up for a band like Bullets and Octane. They're not like world renowned. They're not fucking AC/DC, but they had a big following.
And they sold out the House of Blues that night.
Yeah, up until
In
like
Anaheim. Yeah.
maybe like that record, maybe the record after, but they had a big following. So opening up for Bullets and Octane, for all intents and purposes, they were going to blow up and become world famous, right? Like you didn't like that's a trajectory. How do you say it?
Trajectory.
That's a stupid word.
It's a really dumb word.
Trajectory. That's the trajectory. If you say it in an accent, you can hide.
If you pull your Sean
Everything
Connery accent out.
That's the trajectory they were on. Is they were good. They were exploding and they're becoming big and famous, and they were going to be world renowned. So opening up for Bullets and Octane in that era for like their next record release party, that's a big deal. That's a big deal for House of Blues. That was a big fucking venue for a band that's pretty meaningless, right? And so for Valiant Thorr to open up for Bullets, like you got to bring it because everyone's there to watch. I mean, Bullets, dude, rock and roll, like through and through.
Straight up rock.
Amazing rock and roll.
We've talked about it, when we did Bullets on the podcast a while back. If they were a band in the early 90s, they would have made it. They would have fucking made it. They would have made so much money. They would have sold so many records, but it was a little too late. I mean, that the Revelry came out in 04 and The Mouth of the Young came out in 06, and it was just a little too late, guys. It sucks because those two records, the Revelry and In the Mouth of the Young,
unmatched. The
Revelry
something else.
is way better than In the Mouth of the Young. But either way, both records are phenomenal. But yeah, just wrong place. It's like the Bomb Pops. Like we always talk about, we love the Bomb Pops.
Yeah.
We always talk about them. Wrong place, wrong time, because they released that record, Death in Venice Beach, right when the world shut down because of COVID.
Just missed a fucking
But
deadline.
had COVID not happened, that I feel like the Bomb Pops would have just absolutely blown up.
Yeah.
Because that record is phenomenal. Just wrong place, wrong time.
For sure.
So.
And they missed it by just mere months.
Yeah.
Like not much. And that sucks.
Bullets missed it by, almost
Decade
15
and a
years.
half.
Yeah. But anyway,
But that's cool. That's cool that
Thorr.
Valient Thorr opens up for a rock and roll band, and it's Valient Thorr, and these guys are completely not like Bullets and Octane. Or Bullets and Octane are very sexualized, very glam rock looking,
Yeah.
and Valient Thorr are ugly fucking bearded men, and they
Very
rock.
bearded men, yeah.
And they rock in some cases harder, in some cases differently.
Way harder.
But dude, they rock just as well, and that's cool. Mad respect to a band that's cutting their teeth. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Wish I was at that show. Peak Bullets, fucking peak Valiant Thorr. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
First thoughts, initial impressions,
Initial thoughts. Yeah.
initial
You can
impressions.
kinda, combine different
Initial
phrases.
impressions are
initial impressions. What do you got?
It's been a long time since I listened to this record. I don't listen to it through and through very often. Maybe once a year or two. But I do go back to like Showdown, the prologue, and the curtain. Especially when you come out, and then all of a sudden, like, we inevitably will quote this record, and it's so annoying and so funny. But like getting back into it, it was just like I don't know, it's like hanging out with John, right? Like boom, you're transported right back into a time, right back into a place. Like you didn't even miss a beat. Nostalgic hits hard, and it was fun, and it was smiley fun.
Yeah,
that's my initial impressions.
Yeah, I mean, the nostalgia certainly does hit hard for so many reasons, but also musically, this record is really fucking fun. The songs are incredibly fun to listen to. They're so outrageous at times. Like the way that Valiant himself sings, he sings like a preacher, like or he speaks like a preacher, an evangelical preacher, but he's not, preaching shitty things. Like he's talking about peace, love, and aliens and shit, and rock and roll and all that kind of shit. So yeah, first impressions, this is just, it's so unique. I mean, obviously Valiant himself is not the greatest singer, but he makes up for it as one of the great frontmans. I honestly think he's one of the great frontmans, like up there with one of the great frontmans.
All time?
Musically, I would honestly throw Valiant himself in like top 10. Top 10
all time.
Top 10 all time. All time. Yeah. I mean, nobody beats David Lee Roth. He's number one. But Valiant himself, like he's an incredible frontman. The way he can get the crowd going, whether it's to 200 people at Chain Reaction or to 10,000 people at Download Festival or wherever, the guy can get everybody going. He's truly incredible as a frontman. And the band, Valient Thorr, incredible fucking drummer, Aiden Thorr, just a killer fucking lead guitarist and great songwriter on this record as well. So, I don't know. I think this is just a unique, quirky record, a lot of prog elements, which we'll break down more. But that's my initial thought. I think sum it up, it's incredible. So
good.
Stinkers, I don't have any. Do you have any stinkers?
No.
Yeah,
it's silly.
It'd be stupid if you had stinkers.
This is one of those records too where like I think every song is great, but I don't think every song is like a beyond banger. Mm-hmm. So I have 5 bangers, but it's one of the ones where I was like, okay, I can't just say, oh, there's bangers. I have 6 bangers. I can't just say every song's a fucking banger because that's stupid. So every song really is a banger, but I have 6 beyond bangers.
Which makes sense. I mean, in the end, this is kind of more of a concept record. There's intermission, or there's like interludes, intermissions, and everything throughout the record. And honestly, I would say that there are 3 songs that it's a suite of songs. So what is it? Was it Hijackers, We Believe in Science, and Tough Customer? That's just one suite of songs. Yes. So I what I did is I grouped that in as one banger.
Oh, because big brain on Brad.
Because you go from an intermission, which is just an instrumental like horns and percussion, and then it drops into, I believe, We Believe in Science, and then Hijackers, and then Tough Customer. I think that's what it is. But just that suite of 3 songs, I think it's perfect. It's like 10 minutes of just perfection, or maybe 12 minutes of perfection. It's great. But anyway, so yeah, I have no stinkers. I have. Most of them are bangers, but let's just kind of. I think our number one banger, our favorite song on here, is going to be our favorite. Or is the same.
I mean, it better be Showdown. Like, there better be your number one fucking banger.
No, it's actually "I'm the Law."
That's stupid.
Is my favorite song. But let's get into Showdown.
But like Showdown, honestly, you don't need it, but it adds to the effect. The prologue, it helps so much.
Yeah.
The prologue is wild. Like, dude. If Showdown wasn't so good, the prologue would just be like, dude, shut the fuck up. Why are you still talking? Why are you still saying this dumbass bullshit? Like, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. He goes on way too long. And then you get into like, man, that transition's fucking insane. And that riff is absolutely wild. That's like, like that's showcasing their thrash influence. That's like saying, hey, like we can be just as fun and wily as Slayer from the Rain and Blood era, but we're a rock and roll band. And we just get beat down, dude. We get beat down constantly by solo after lead after just fucking yelling. Like this, it never stops. It's like 5 minutes. It's just like, fuck, I'm tired, dude. Like, I'm done. But even when the main riff is just like gets that little, I don't know, guitar noodly spot and the transition to that little bridge part where it's like, don't, and then shouty anthem, right? I don't know. I'm getting way too ahead of myself here.
I get it. So, I mean, so this is my technically my 3B, but what I did is I combined the prologue and showdown into a single banger because
it has to be.
It has to be, yeah. Because I mean, the prologue is 2 minutes long, or nearly 2 minutes long, and it's just like this kind of like piano organ playing, not organ, but just like this piano kind of thing playing, and it starts out with "Alahoy, Alahoy." It's Valiant himself just screaming "Alahoy," and then it just goes into this like kind of what is it like not what is it not train of thought, but what am I trying to?
It is. It's just weird fucking like.
It's just him just kind of
first
talking.
of all, like the piano sound is very like medieval, like almost
is,
like
yeah.
even maybe like a Dracula sounding thing, like a castle. It's fucking weird and bizarre, and it almost doesn't match what he's trying to do throughout the course of the record because it's very creepy and weird. But at the same time, it does match what he's trying to do throughout the record because it's like we're afraid, like if we're going into like the lore aspect of it, we're afraid of this person coming from a different planet and landing on Earth and preaching these weird things. It's frightening to us. But then we get into like the showdown, and the showdown to me is very familiar. It's very rock and roll sounding. It's very AC/DC. It's very ZZ Top. It's like, okay, that's familiar. I get that. Mm-hmm. Even though the first part of this thing was scary, like now I'm not scared anymore because we're getting to familiar territory with your rock and roll chops.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know the end of the prologue, it goes, now let's give him a showdown. And then you hear the boom, like on the piano, like boom, and then it goes into showdown with the fucking the riff, and I think
that's the best riffage on the record. Like that's the best fucking riffage on the record.
It really is, and also like the way that the rhythm guitar of Jin and then the lead of Aiden is, you know, it's just this good kind of back and forth and good, just kind of. With Jin just kind of with the rhythm guitar just kind of ringing out the notes while Aiden is let's just say Aiden because Aiden's just easier. Let's say that's his name. That Aiden is just kind of ripping it up a little bit, and really with this record, what I kind of thought and this listen through this week, it reminds me a lot of Kill 'Em All from Metallica. I hear a ton of Kill 'Em All, more so than Slayer and the other big thrash bands. Maybe a little bit of Exodus, but I hear a ton of Kill 'Em all throughout this record, especially in Showdown. There's a ton of that here. And Showdown, it's incredible with that. And then you get the second verse too, where it's just Nightwolf on bass playing that, Lucian on drums, just a normal simple beat, no guitars at all. And they're fucking carrying the song with Valiant himself just singing over it. It's incredible. Like the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs of this record are truly incredible. The way that they can build tension and just rise up and just explode into a different part is absolutely incredible. I love it.
And we're talking 2005, Brad. Like this music did not exist in 2005. Like everybody was so fucking scared to just play rock and roll in 2005. Except for Bullets and Octane and Valient Thorr. There wasn't like a band on the circuit that was just doing just like good old country boy rock and roll. Yeah. And like this is released with Volcom Entertainment.
Doing it well.
Doing it very well.
Yeah.
And just like keeping true. But like Valiant, like even though they seemingly didn't keep it true because there's a lot of lore, which they stole their whole lore aspect from an already established UFO theory.
Which we'll get into.
But like other than that, like they were rock and roll. Like they showed out all of their influences they wore on their sleeves. Like Valient Thorr clearly loved Iggy Pop. Therefore, I'm going to be Iggy Pop by taking off my short, wearing tight pants, putting them down probably way too fucking low to where my wiener's going to hang out or pop at any given moment. And just be obnoxiously sweaty at all times.
That was the style of the time where guys were wearing like low-cut jeans, low-cut pants to where their dicks were almost hanging out.
I mean, Gene did it constantly.
Gene from Bullets and Octane.
Gene did it more aggressive than anybody had ever.
Like you would just see his bush, his hairy bush, like
it was
just above the waistline. It was
not Gavin Rossdale, but like Gene Bullets.
It was wild. But that was also like the style for guys back then, you know.
But for sure, dude, like he is taking a page out of Iggy Pop's book, like frontman style, the way he sang, how he interacted with the crowd, the punk aspect of him being on stage, like that's Iggy Pop to a T.
Yeah,
And that's cool because like fuck it, like if we're just gonna steal somebody's image, like at least like
So
make it
okay,
known, make it known.
I wouldn't say he's stealing from anything. I think there's so many influence coming in from Valiant himself. So I mean, he's a giant wrestling fan. So whenever he played on stage, he was always wearing like wrestling boots, like where you tie him up to your fucking knee.
Yeah,
it's like Converse looking kind of boots, where you tie him up all the way to the knee.
Ankle protection, baby.
That was just him. And then he'd wear super tight jeans. He'd wear like a button down shirt, but when he played live, he'd take the shirt off. Hairy guy, kind of little overweight. And he would just big ass fucking beard, strangly fucking hair, just kind of you're kind of, I don't know, just kind of gross.
It's
not
dude's
gross, but
dude,
just
right?
a dude's
Like
dude.
a
Yeah,
dude's dude.
Your average guy. Yeah, your average kind of like Midwestern. I know these guys are from North Carolina, or actually they're from Venus, the planet Venus, but their human forms are from North Carolina. But yeah, no, they just have that kind of like down to earth, kind of gritty, gross look, and I love it. I fucking love it. But I mean, I get the Iggy Pop, I get the Metallica, I get the Alice Cooper at times. I get maybe not Alice Cooper. That's not a battle one, but I see so many different influences.
They're not afraid to like
the wrestling, especially.
I say steal because after a whole Bourbon County, I can't think of a better word for it. But there's nothing wrong with like stealing like an influence and saying like here are my idols, here are the guys I grew up listening to, and now I'm going to form a band, and in the vein of them, based on like looks or riffage or whatever it is. But yeah, dude, there's a lot of fucking Metallica in the guitar playing. There's a lot of Iggy Pop in what he's doing on stage. There's a lot of thrash. There's a lot of just old blues in what they are doing, not just guitars, but also like the bass player and what like the bass and how like the bass and the drums interact with each other. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of just like walking bass lines, especially in like the spoken word parts. I mean, he like, Benjamin Powell is just kind of noodling, but what are the bass and the drums doing? They're just doing like a blues riff. Yeah. And it's just very like, it's very basic. It's very in the back. It's very quiet, and that's fine. It's cool.
Benjamin Powell, by the way, is the lead guitarist, Aiden Thorr. So I mean, the guys that were mentioning
blew me away this week. I was fucking blown away by him this week.
Incredible guitar player. I think he's a really, really great guitar player. So let's just go through the nicknames of the band at this time. Valiant himself on vocals, Aiden, or we'll just call him Aiden Thorr on lead guitar, Jin Thorr on rhythm guitar, Night Wolf. He has a longer name, but we'll just call him Night Wolf on bass, and then Lucian Thorr on drums. So those are the five guys on this record. So we'll get more into that. And I think Lucian Thorr, I mean, he has some incredible moments, but he's an underrated drummer, man. He has some great shuffling beats. He has some really incredible fills. He's fast and busy when appropriate. He does a lot of the good stop and goes when appropriate. The guy, Lucian Thorr, is truly a great drummer. Underrated.
This band is based in rock and roll, right? And rock and roll is based in like blues music. So like he is a good, like you said, the shuffle, like that's hard to do. We make fun of Ringo all the time, but like it's hard to do a good fucking shuffle, and it's hard to do a good fucking shuffle when you're playing rock and roll music. It's not easy,
especially when it's this loud.
Especially when it's loud and this fast, and he turns on a dime, and the transitions are fantastic, and it never sounds like it was just cut up, and it's just he's great. He's fucking amazing. He's not like the best drummer of all time, but like goddamn, for this band, like you could not have found a better guy.
No,
unless it was like a professional drummer from one of the big ones, right? But
even then, like
this guy's amazing.
Even then, it's like these guys, these five guys on this record, they were all from the same area. It's not like Valiant himself and Aiden Thorr, they moved to LA and then they got these guys from LA, like a drummer from LA or things like that. All these guys grew up, lived in North Carolina. This is just a very kind of like homogenous kind of band. Like this is like everything about this band, even like the future members. I think almost all the future members in this band all came from North Carolina, all came from the Raleigh, North Carolina area, which is super cool. Like they never really brought in anybody super crazy, no crazy outside producers. Jack and Dino produced a couple of their later records, a couple of their later records, but even then, he's not some big time producer. But
I mean, he's done some pretty big fucking things. But
yeah, but I mean, he's not like a fucking Phil Spector or what's the guy who did The Wall that we've been doing on with Kiss? I forgot. Bob Ezrin. Yeah, this is. I mean, he's not huge. You know what I mean?
I mean, he did big things. Just in 2000s he did nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing big. You need Bleach, right? Then did some Mudhoney, did some Soundgarden.
Yeah, but I mean, Bleach is like, come on, that's not a great sounding record. It cost him $600 to make that record. Yeah, he was a part of it, but he wasn't like. It's not. You can compare him to Steve Albini.
No.
So yeah, dude, the dogs are going crazy right now. I don't know
What are
if
they going
people
crazy
can
for?
hear him
Is Callie Todd there?
No, there's a siren going off, and then Tammy's getting them all riled up. She's howling with the dogs, and
Good.
Jesus Christ, bedlam in this house.
Bedlam Goliath, sure.
So anyway, Showdown.
Showdown, I'm gonna believe it.
Prologue and Showdown.
Yeah, I mean that's my 1B is both of those put together. I think like those two things, Prologue and Showdown. That's like what I think Bedlam for is if someone's like, hey, what one song should I listen to get into Mars Volta? I would show them Bedlam. This is what I would show people for Valiant Thor, Prologue
Showdown.
into Showdown. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you don't like this, you're probably not going to like Valiant Thor.
That's fair. I mean, with Valiant Thor, I would throw Man Behind the Curtain. You know, I would throw that as like the introduction to the band. But also with Mars Volta, with the Mars Volta, I wouldn't throw Bedlam and Goliath as the song. I would throw Initiatic. I throw Drunk Ship as the introduction to the band, to the Mars Volta, not
one song to
not
like
Bedlam and Goliath.
Get somebody in to the Mars Volta that has never listened.
I would say Drunk Ship. Drunk Ship is a better way to get into the Mars Volta because it has enough of the weirdness, the progginess, but it still has enough of like the typical kind of song structure that people can latch onto.
I think Bedlam probably has more melody than weirdness,
but only in the first half of the song. But then the last the second half of the song, the last 4 minutes of that song of Bedlam is just chaos. It's fucking soloing.
That's
Thomas
Mars
Pridgeon's
Volta,
going
right?
fucking crazy. I get it.
Let's hook him with the hook, and then
Let's hook him with
like
the hook.
if you like that, then stay with me, and then we'll
Okay.
get here's the rest of it. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna say Bedlam.
Okay, that's fair.
I know our boy Skip will weigh in on this one. Are you both fucking stupid, huh? That's again with
You
the
fucking wankers.
you fucking bloody wankers over here. Oh,
Whatever, bro. Whatever, bro.
Tuesday, isn't it?
Friend of the pod, Skip, who lives in Birmingham, and we're not even using the right accent. God, that was so funny. It was like a couple years ago. He sent us a bunch of voice messages saying, okay, these are the different accents, the Cockney accent, this accent, that accent. And it's just like,
And the way he
They're
broke
all-
it down, honestly, it did. I was like,
It
okay,
made
yeah,
sense.
I actually do hear the difference between all those.
yeah,
And what we normally do is just the Queen's English.
yeah,
But the fuck is the most funny.
it is.
They all speak stupid over there, so I don't know what you want me to do.
Tuesday, isn't it?
It's Tuesday, isn't it? There's no CH in Tuesday. There's no CH in Tuesday. That's all I'm
They're
saying.
just chewing on a day. Anyway,
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Prologue Showdown. That's your 1B.
Won't be.
My 1B is I Am the Law.
I am the law.
This has got to at least be your number 2, right?
Hold on. I gotta highlight this. I'm the law. No. Where the
Come
fuck is
on,
this?
man.
No,
This is the
3B.
song- This is the
3B.
song that you and I
3B.
quote constantly.
3B.
We've always quoted this for almost 20 years now. We've been quoting this song.
It is a 3B.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is just a super energetic song. One thing we haven't touched too much upon is Valiant himself's vocal delivery. During a lot of this record, especially this record and the first record, he has this like evangelical preacher type of way of singing or speaking the lines, and it's great. Like, because obviously he's not preaching like crazy, homophobic, racist, Christian things. Like, he's just talking about the lore of this band Valiant Thorr and spirituality and loving each other. But the way he's doing it is just so over the top, and I love it. And that's what this is. This song is that. And Lucian Thorr just absolutely ripping it up. And there are a few times where even Valiant himself says, "Give it Lucian Thorr one time, baby." And Lucian rips it up. It like fucking just rips it up. And then the second time he tells him to Lucian to rip it up, he says, "Oh my God, give it up for him." And then Lucian just really fucking kills it. It's this song is absolutely incredible.
It is. It's
the
amazing.
guitar work is fucking great. Come on, guy. How is this not your number 1?
How? Because fucking Because what they are about is prologue and showdown. Like what this band, why this band exists is for prologue and showdown. Like weird, stupid fucking delivery, like you just said with like the preacher thing. That's prologue, and then aggressive metal. That's showdown. Like that is why this band exists, is because of those two things.
But they just condense so much into I Am the Law. You know, you have this kind of the more spoken word stuff. You have the almost melodic choruses where everything's super busy, like I said, and then you just there's different sections of this song. It's almost like this like mini prog song as well, and under like what is it, like 4 minutes or something like that. It's incredible. And then like the
song
bridge,
essentially. The song essentially ends, right? Like we're done with the song.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we get another song. Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's now the next song sequentially. But then they go back to the beginning part of this. Like, what the fuck? This is still the same song? I'm like, that's cool.
What I love too is like it's super busy and chaotic. And then you hear just like these like drum rolls from Lucian. And then it just kind of slows down, gets quieter. And then you hear Valiant himself say, "Are you ready to get down? Then do it like this." And then it just fucking rips into it again. And then the next part is, you know, where he goes, "I am the law." Or it goes like, "Baby, I am the law."
Yeah.
And then there's silence. And then diddly-doo, diddly-doo, the bass, the diddly-doo, 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 get back. And then it just goes right back into the beginning, the whole intro. It's just fucking chaos. Like the whole structure of this song is absolutely insane. And it's so much fun. That's why this is the best song on the record. I fucking love it.
Okay, no, it's fine. And the repetitive nature of like the outro. What the I don't know what the fuck you got some future, brother. You got some power. Don't stop me. I'm the law.
Oh yeah, don't stop me. I'm the law. Yeah,
like that. But like also rhyming law with raw and like doing it over and over and over and fall and raw. But like doing that thing over and over and over gets to be like anthemic. And also what this band does really well is doing like the shouty chants, right? Like it's not quite like pirate chanting, like but they do like a lot of shouty chants and they do clap a lot. And in this song too, like they had a little fucking like fake crowd in the beginning in the little speech. like that's if it wasn't for Valient Thorr, that would be stupid and cheesy and we would just rail against it. Like, why the fuck would you fucking do that? It's so stupid. But because it's so there and they're not trying to hide it and it cuts off like that, it doesn't like die out. They just cut it and then they start the song. Like that's deliberately stupid, which means it's going to be funny and fun.
Yeah. Like that's the best way to describe this band is fun. Like that is it. They're just fun.
Deliberately stupid and fun.
I wouldn't even say stupid. I would just say fun. That's what they are. Straight up. Yeah, I am the law. I was totally going to talk about something else, but now I cannot remember what it was. Yeah,
life is love, and love is life.
Oh, the lyrics. So you know, I've never really dove into the lyrics on this record, but I was kind of looking at the lyrics on. Obviously, I did a deeper dive on the lyrics on this one, but also I was looking at like Immortalizer, which is our second favorite Valient Thorr record. And as a lyricist, I feel like Valient Thorr, he got so much better as time went on. Because the lyrics on Total Universe, man, they're fun, but they're not. They're it's more like a stream of thought, stream of consciousness. Yes. That's what it is. And
it's
there's
a
lot
vomit for an overall concept.
Yeah, and there's a lot of repetition, which is cool because that's very much like a preacher. It's very much like I think it was very intentional, like to make it just very easier to digest and make it sound like in a subtle way criticize evangelical preachers and things like that. But I don't think there was anything outside of the concept and the theme of the record. I don't think there was anything crazy about the lyrics, at least especially compared to like Immortalizer, which I thought the lyrics were great on. But yeah, I don't have too much written about the lyrics outside of the lore.
I don't either. I think the lyrics served an overall purpose. Again, I think there's an overall concept, but and I don't mean to say word vomit is like a negative thing, because stream of consciousness is a better like phrase to use. But there's a lot of word vomit, but the words mean something in the context of like how he says things and when he says those words. Yeah, right. Exactly, when he says "I am the law," like it's not. He's just throwing it there mid sentence and it's kind of a throwaway thing. Like that's the name of the track, and he's trying to convey that like his words mean something, and regardless of what anybody else says, he's going to be true to like himself. So when he says, I am the law, it's at quiet parts. It's at the end of a stanza. It's at the end of something, or it's the beginning of something else. So when he says these I am the law things, it's like, oh, I'm picking up on that because it's kind of like isolated from everything else that he says. But everything else is kind of just word vomit in a deliberate sense.
Yeah. And you know, I think as a vocalist, he sings more to the songs as well, because there's a ton of repetition and a ton of him repeating himself lyrically, but how he says the line, you know, he has so many different ways of singing and speaking. Like there's the normal spoken word, there's the screaming, there's the super evangelical preacher speaking, there's the melodic vocals. Like he's all over the place, but he sings to play to the song. Even though he could say I am the law in 10 different ways, but it's gonna evoke a different emotion from you each time he says it, which is fantastic, which is like a great frontman, a great vocalist. Yeah, he's not like the best singer ever, but he's a great vocalist because of what he can convey in the song itself. So he uses his vocals more as like as a tool, as a songwriter, than just as strictly a vocalist, which is fantastic.
I mean, to your point, like being the best of all time, which he's not top 10.
I think he's top 10 from it.
But like the job of a vocalist is to just have a good voice, right? The job of a lyricist is to write really good lyrics. The job of a frontman is to do all of it. And if you sound like shit live, right, then I don't care like how you say it, but what you say, versus I don't care what you say versus how you say it. Whereas Valiant himself can do all of it. He can just spit out a bunch of bullshit, and I don't understand any of it. But because he believes in it, I believe in it. And he's not a good singer,
which is just like a preacher, you know, a fucking preacher, you know.
And if he's not a good singer, like that's fine too. But again, like because he is behind it, then I'm fucking behind it. I want to feel what you feel, and that is a good frontman. Is conveying whatever emotion you're trying to, based on like anything but words. Words are just placeholders. He could just be doing like boo boo ba ba ba. Like nothing fucking matters. Right?
That's what
like,
a lot of vocalists do. Like on scratch tracks or demos, those aren't the final lyrics you hear. Those are just melodies and just ideas that they're throwing into a demo or a recording before you hear the final version. But just the way that Valiant himself conveys himself is God damn, dude, it's so good. And that, once again, that's one of the things one of the reasons why I think he is such a great frontman. And also, I mean, like I said, the lyrics on this record aren't the greatest, but you go deeper into their discography in the future or after this record, and his lyrics do get deeper. They get more into social, you know, or the government.
That most like people would do if they're a frontman in a band.
A lot of sci-fi. He's also influenced by a lot of sci-fi. You know, the song "Tomorrow Police." You know.
God, that song's so good.
It's so good. But I mean, obviously, it's very 1984-esque in the lyrics. But a lot of that stuff has transpired to where we are now in 2025. I mean, he's not the first to do it, but he did it well in a song, and still a solid. And most lyricists don't talk about that, especially lyrics or singers and shit like that, songwriters in the pop realm, or people in winning Grammys or, you know, selling a shit ton of records. People don't talk about that stuff. It's more of a niche kind of style of music. So, I don't know.
Oh, the SAG Awards. That's what just happened. I was trying to think, like, didn't the Grammys just happen? But it wasn't the Grammys. It was
the Grammys happened.
That was not just.
That was like 2 weeks ago. The Grammys was like 2 weeks
last ago. Week was the. I think it was the SAG Awards.
It was the SAG Awards, yeah.
Yeah.
Where Mark Hamill's pants fell down?
Yeah.
Is that the SAGs? Yeah.
And then, what's that dude's name? Harrison Ford. And that girl he's in the other show with. And
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was a thing. It was funny. It was cute. He's in that show, Shrinking, on Apple.
Oh, yeah, that show's not very good.
He's in that show with that girl, and that girl had like a monologue thing. She's talking about her life story in the background. Harrison Ford's like, is clueless that the camera is on this girl, and he's like eating a cookie all slow in the background. And
so it's just like the show.
When he realizes he's in her little bit for the show, he like kind of backs away into it, and she yells at him. And it's actually really fucking funny. And it's
Wait,
really,
is it the black girl, the African American girl? Yeah, it's from the show. That's literally their characters in the show. because they're both in the show. They're both psychiatrists, and they work in the same office together. And he's a old, rude asshole, and all he does is ignore her and Jason Segel's character.
Oh, so they're just being themselves.
They're just being
in
themselves
real
in the
life
show.
as they are in the show.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, I watched the first 3 episodes of Shrinking on Apple Plus or whatever, and that show is just it's boring. I like Jason Segel and I love Harrison Ford, but the show's boring. It's boring, man. I tried.
Okay. I don't like that. That was a bit though. I thought that was a wholesome moment of
It's
Harrison Ford being old and
it's 100% their characters on that show.
So he knew exactly what he was doing from the beginning. That's gross.
That's the way she goes.
For that, I will not watch the show.
That's fine. You don't need to. Same with that Vince Vaughn show on Apple Plus. I don't remember what it's called. That show sucked too. I watched the first 3 episodes. I'll give any new show the first 3 episodes. Except
for Battlestar Galactica, which I've been telling you to watch for weeks. You won't watch it. Got him.
It's been like 3 days.
So what's your 3B over here?
You're the worst. You're the worst.
For like a week.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna start watching it this week.
2 weeks.
Dude, get the fuck out of here. I tell you to watch shows all the time.
I tell you to watch Winning Time.
And you're like, oh, yeah, I'll watch it. I watch anything you
There's
say
only
to watch,
one show I haven't watched is Winning Time. That is it. That's the only show.
Yeah. And I'm still beating you. I've watched every show you've told me to watch. I've watched every show you told me to watch. Anyway, this is neither here nor there.
Is it anywhere?
It's anywhere. It's somewhere. All right. So, do we have anything else on "I Am the Law"? I'm spent on this song.
No, we're spent.
We're spent. So, what was your 2B then?
That was my 2B.
"I Am the Law."
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I thought it was your 3. Baby, I'm the law. Give it up, Pollution Thor, one time, baby. Oh my God, give it up to him. Great. So my number 2 is Man Behind the Curtain. Then
the curtain
will fall. The one who believes the wait. What did he say? The one who believes the dun
to this song.
The curtain is drawn.
Yeah.
He just gets like more and more high pitched and screamy. I love it.
2 minutes. Yeah.
Why do you hate this song? I don't get it.
This is my 3B. I actually don't hate this song. I love this song. I think we have like perfect like Judas Priest era dueling metal guitars that are going on, which is fucking so sick. And I know neither of us really like Judas Priest, but I think we both really appreciate the dueling metal guitars in Judas
Priest.
Tuesday, isn't it? For
Tuesday.
Judas Priest. See, it's
Tuesday,
my English accent coming out because I'm from Birmingham, actually.
Of course.
So
yeah, I could tell.
I say THs with
you also
CH. How does
you also
Judas
know
Priest?
you know
Judas.
more about Birmingham history than friend of the pod Skip does.
I know more about Birmingham history than anybody. I don't.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
That's a
also,
fucking fact.
English history. Yeah.
So that's why well, you shouldn't fucking joke around about fucking English history.
I want to throw a hissy fit, mate. Want a hissy fit, bruv?
Yeah, that's why we threw you out of this country. You're too annoying.
Dude, the cyberbullying we're throwing at Skip, right, friend of the pod Skip right now is
unmatched.
I mean, we haven't done this kind of cyberbullying towards him in a long time.
If he ever like visits us here in America, we should give him like a free 10 minutes. Just like, hey, you have 10 minutes, so you can just rip into us, say whatever you want. No rebuttals. We don't say a word. The floor is yours. That's my offer. That's my offer to him if he ever comes to visit.
Oh, that's great.
Man Behind the Curtain. Yeah, I like the riffage and I like Valiant's weird vocal delivery. And dude, the drummer's got cool parts, right?
Great.
We talked about this one too, and the music video, which I didn't. Obviously, you can't hear it in the auditory format because why would you be able to hear the bass player grabbing the cymbal as he hits it to deaden the cymbal? And then I was like, man, no, dude, that's for the music video. Then I watched like live performances.
They do it live.
They still fucking do it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like the bass player, but like whoever's just kind of the closest to the drummer at that point. We just walk up there and go, ching,
they grab it. They grab it right at the right time too.
And that's perfect. Just like, I'm sure maybe someone has done that before, but I've never noticed anyone ever doing that ever before.
Yeah.
And that's rock
so
and roll,
sick,
dude.
right?
That's rock and roll. That's something else. That's like just next level like shit on top of something that's already pretty damn cool.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't watched live performances, like live videos from them in a long time. But yeah, the last few days I was scouring YouTube and just watching, they were so much fun. This band was so much fun, so underrated with their live performances. And I like a lot of bands, you would say, oh yeah, their live performance is better than what they are on record. But honestly, their records are so incredibly energetic and really kind of, they're not that much different than they are live. Like they're just such an incredible band. And also the video for Man Behind the Curtain, not only the cymbal stops, but there's also the moment where they knock over there's a beer on top of the amp. They knock the beer over and it starts to spill over. And then I think like Aiden Thorr like pushes over like a little solo cup. So all the beer pours into the solo cup. So they don't waste any of the beer. It's so good.
Like it's such a dumb thing, right? It's such a dumb little part. Like, hey, dude, what if we knocked over a beer and like I put a cup in front of it to catch the beer, right? Like that's like something you would say when you're drinking, and like fuck it, let's put it in the video.
And one of my favorite parts of this video, the dumbest, but one of my favorite parts is when everything in the song, everything goes silent, but in the video, Valiant himself has his arms spread out and he's wearing like that button down shirt, but he has his arms spread out, and then like a string or something pulls the shirt from each side and rips his shirt off.
That's how you do it, baby.
Goes fucking nuts.
That's how you do it, baby.
Dude, it was so over the top for such like a small scale video with like almost probably no budget. God damn, it was so much fun. But that was like, the band.
That's like Broadway kind of theatrics, right? It's so over the top and like
wrestling.
Obviously,
it's wrestling.
Exactly. Keep it kayfabe.
Yes.
That really, you're right. That's it.
That's his
I mean,
band.
wrestling, it really is just like Broadway, just for really buff fucking dudes that are also athletes.
But that's also Valient Thorr. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, they're huge wrestling fans, especially Valiant himself, like I mentioned with the boots. But live, you and I, you sent me a video today. But yeah, back when they were on Warped Tour, Valiant himself would get up on these like giant stacks of speakers and jump like a good 12 feet into the crowd. Like he would just stage dive from these speakers. And there's some like great, like if you look it up, like there's some great pictures of Valiant himself just throwing himself off the speakers midair. And you could just see the people in the crowd like kind of scared, like how are we going to be able to catch him?
Because this is Warped Tour of the mid 2000s. These aren't like adults, bro. These are kids. These are like us at high school. At most, we're 19, 20 years old. Like these are fucking children, and you're expecting a bunch of children to catch you when you're jumping 15 feet, 20 feet to the ground, right? You die. Like if nobody catches you, would die.
That's also very wrestling because the wrestlers that get up on these 12-foot ladders. They'll jump off the 12-foot ladders onto a fucking table, go through the table, and then just land on the mat.
Mick Foley, right? Jumping off the cage.
Fucking it's wrestling. Valiant himself doing that is fucking wrestling. I love it.
And this is like the end. I mean, this is true, like the end of the Attitude Era of wrestling. So, like everyone, that's kind of actually amazing because if you think like the Attitude Era bleeding into like the early 2000s. So like everyone's kind of like, including like myself, like, oh damn, like wrestling's kind of dumb. There's no high flying act anymore. There's no more blood on wrestling. Like I'm done with wrestling. Then I see a guy do this. It's immediately throwing me back to like, fuck man, this is what I miss about like WWF.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's capturing all these different demographics of people. I like that.
He's got the Ric Flairs. He's got the Hulk Hogans. He's got all the big guys here. Dude, he's just Valiant himself is something else.
Valiant himself, something else.
And his name is Herbie. His name is Herbie. What a name for such a big character.
I was never going to say his real name because the mystique should have been left there.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck. But it makes it more
Benjamin
fun.
Powell, and that's fine.
Yeah, you did. And also, prior to Valiant Thorr, Valiant himself was a teacher. He was a professor at a college. I don't know what he taught, but he was a college professor. And then he quit that. The whole band quit all their day jobs to go be in this band, which is fucking incredible. And Valiant himself becomes one of the greatest frontmen ever, top 10 frontman.
That's something. That's something. I don't think he's top 10 though, but he's something.
He is.
That's something.
He's got it all, baby.
He does have I watched another interview of him today and talking about like his dad and that part of his life, and I was like, damn, bro, like that's
when he gave his kidney to his
sad.
dad.
Like, not only did he give his kidney to his dad, but like he pretty much made it seem like his dad, his dad growing up drank a lot of alcohol and did a lot of drugs, and then quit at some point. But at that point, your body's already kind of wrecked, so it was kind of too late. And Valiant kind of knew that, like, if I'm going to give my dad my kidney, I know it's probably not going to work, because if he gets sick or whatever, he's just going to die. And at that time, like, there wasn't really a whole lot of, I mean, this is like the mid 2000s or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think it was mid 2000s. There wasn't like a whole lot of interest in giving like old guys kidneys. And he had said that it wouldn't work. We don't know if it'll work. Maybe it'll work. And he's like, well, I'll just do it anyway. Like, I got 2 of them. And so while he was on tour, I guess he was like peeing in fucking cups and sending him back to the lab for whatever they do with pee for kidney transplants. And they told him, like, dude, it may not work. It may not work. He's like, yeah, you fuck, just do it.
Just do it. And then
it
not
did
only
work
that, it worked. Yeah, because
while.
his dad, I think his dad died in like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, it worked for a while until his dad got sick and then died. And
But
that's
also,
exactly what they told him would happen.
From what I read too, his dad was diabetic, and if you know anything about
Right.
diabetes is like one of the worst diseases ever. Like, diabetes is truly
slowly
awful.
consume. It's like a snake, just like slowly consuming
It's like
you. And all you can do is like slow the process.
It's the physical form of, I would compare it to the physical form of dementia. Dementia destroys you mentally, but diabetes destroys you physically, and it just, God, it's a fucked up disease, man.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up. But my point was, when he gave the kidney to his dad, he went out back on tour with Valient Thorr 3 weeks after the surgery. After
he was on tour while they did it. They took a little break, and then he went back on tour.
He went back on tour 3 weeks after the surgery happened.
Yeah.
Like, he probably, in all likelihood, he wasn't fully recovered from that 3 weeks. I mean, I get it. He was young. He's probably like mid to late 20s. But even still, that's a big surgery. You lost one of your kidneys.
An organ, right? Like, somebody took your fucking organ, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 2 of them, but
mad props to him. Mad props to him.
But it was cool because in the interview, like, I don't know, for whatever it's worth, it was a very humanizing thing to see him be so vulnerable for an otherwise, bigger than earth personality. And it was cool. It's cool to see. We're older now, so it's cool to see like our childhood idols be normal, be human,
Yeah.
be us, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Like, at some point you realize, like, as you grow older, like, damn, my parents had no fucking idea what they were doing, even though as a kid you thought they had everything lined up.
That was not the case.
But you realize, fuck, dude, they didn't know a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Good times.
Great times. So also, in 2008, they put out a DVD called In Heat, and what this documented was like the first 4 or 5 years of the band. I have the DVD, and I searched for this thing.
I couldn't find it on YouTube.
I know. I went out to because I did buy this DVD. I literally have it, but I could not find it in my collection.
Yeah, big surprise. I've seen that garage.
And
big surprise.
That's my next task is throwing half of that garage away.
Oh,
and just I'm throwing half of that
on.
garage away.
Well, make sure we send pictures and text.
Of course.
Because there's a lot of good things in that garage, but your garage is fucking wild.
It's wild. Yes, I know. But anyway, yeah. So I do have this In Heat DVD, and I watched it several times when I got it back in 2008, but I could not find it for the life of me this week, and I was totally bummed because I really wanted to watch it to help with this episode, because I fucking love this band. But anyway,
I searched for it on YouTube. You get like the trailers are on YouTube, but not the actual.
You can't find it. Yeah,
DVDs on YouTube, which I thought was kind of weird.
Right. Well, I mean, I think this band just doesn't. They just weren't very big, because even if you go on their Wikipedia, like each album has like there's just the track listing
written for every album.
Yeah, there's nothing. Even when you go and like search up specific albums, like the making of the albums, there's nothing there. There's a couple things on like Punk News or like Blabbermouth or something like Metal Injection, but otherwise like there's nothing really written about these records or this band. It's just kind of like you had to be there while the band was going to really get it, to really get the band. And then, but on YouTube, I mean, of course, there's a shit ton of great live performances and concerts and shit like that.
Honestly, the best reviews that I read about these records were through Punk News, because they
right.
all hated this band. Fucking hated this band. And they called them posers, and they said, like, you're not a good thrash band, so stop trying. Your shtick is stupid, so stop. And I was like, oh, dude, you're such a punker. That's such a punker thing to do. But like, I never saw one of the punk news guys write a review on this band. So, like, that would have been like my I don't know, my rock, where I would have been able to differentiate between like an objective punker review versus just some dickhead who only listens to obscure punk like Tom Trauma, or what's the other guy's name? Liverpool Skip? Neil.
But Liverpool Neil was never part of punk news.
I know, but he's a one-dimensional, boring punker.
But Tom Trauma, he likes
he's also
a lot of
one-dimensional.
metal. No, he likes a lot of metal.
punker.
He listens to a lot of metal. Liverpool Neil listens to only punk and Morrissey, and that's it.
I'm already bored just even talking about this, to be honest.
God, you're the worst. You're the worst to talk to sometimes.
I can't even get through this bit.
Anyway, Man Behind the Curtain. Let's bring it back to this song real quick.
The curtain
is drawn. Honestly, I don't know what this song's about. I think if anything, it's about like the shadow government, and this kind of feeds into the lore of Valiant Thorr. That whole the lore and the theory of Valiant Thorr, that there is this giant shadow government that actually controls everything, and everything we see is a psyop. Because in the end, the whole theory of Valiant Thorr, the real Valiant Thorr, is a giant psyop. I mean, it 100% is. So,
well, the whole Valiant Thorr, that the thing is it's a big UFO conspiracy.
Well, yeah, that's
right?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a giant psyop.
50s. It dates back to the 50s. It's super old.
So
The
briefly,
fact that he just took the entirety of this old like UFO conspiracy and made it their band, like fuck it, whatever. If you're not going to claim it, I'm going to claim it, and that's fine. I don't care. Like no one's going to be the wiser. But they stole everything.
Just going through that real quick. So there was a story back in, I think it was 1957, if I remember correctly. There was 1954. Okay. So
Specific.
This is a story that came out that there was this guy named Valiant Thorr, or this creature named Valiant Thorr that claimed to come from the planet Venus, with a couple other delegates from the planet Venus, to bring peace and happiness and warn the world of nuclear warfare and all that kind of stuff. And apparently they lived in the Pentagon for years, advising Dwight D. Eisenhower, Richard Nixon, and all that kind of shit back in the day in the 60s and stuff. And that's really kind of like the gist, not the gist, but like the main part of the whole theory. And really this band, they took that whole theory and just made the lore even deeper, and just kind of expanded on the story of it all, and just kind of how stupid and outrageous it was. And then when you read more about it, like this is more like a CIA psyop of the time. Like this is the CIA kind of throwing out bits and pieces to the American public, to the public, saying, it's kind of like gauging their reaction to UFOs and aliens and how people would react, and then kind of building on it from there. I mean, typical psyop. That's what this
typical is. Government conspiracy theorist stuff.
But it's not even a conspiracy, because it's a
fucking story, dude. It's just not a psyop. It's a fucking story.
It's a story,
silly story.
It's a story, but it's also a psyop. Much like not the day there. Wait, what was the Orson
Is the
Welles?
Candyman a psyop? Is
what's
the
the
Tooth Fairy a
wait,
psyop? It's the fucking story.
Wait, what's the Orson Welles? The Day the Earth Stood Still, or yeah, that was 100% a psyop. That was to for the government to kind of see like how the public would react to a fake alien or an alien invasion, and they gathered the data, much like we've had a lot of things. War of the Worlds, yes, exactly. I'm sorry, War of the Worlds.
I knew it was there, but not quite there.
Not quite,
it took me a second.
Not the day. That was. I think the Day the Earth Stood Still was based off of the Valiant Thorr theory. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think that movie was based off of this theory.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was based off the Valiant Thorr theory.
That was a cool fucking movie. Actually, old, and the Keanu Reeves remake too was cool.
Great. But yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. These guys come from Venus.
You're like that guy from The Mummy on the train where he's like, "This is cursed. That is cursed. Everything is fucking cursed."
It's true though.
That's
but it's
psyop.
true.
Sometimes
It's
they're just
all-
stupid urban legends, like
No, it's not.
like
no.
Bigfoot's a psyop.
No.
Loch Ness monsters is no.
No.
Bigfoot's a psyop.
No.
You're like the Molder. You're like the Molder.
That's
of the two
fine.
of us.
That's fine.
And that's
fine.
absolutely it's fine. You need the Molder.
I am the Mulder. I am Mulder always.
I'm just Scully. I'm obviously the
You're-
better one.
you're the
smarter
dummy.
one.
No, you're the dummy. But
You think
that's okay.
Scully's a dummy?
Yeah.
Well, that's racist. Anyway,
Scully is a dummy because she is every episode she is proven wrong,
You know?
but she still does not accept the truth.
that's
every
not
single
fair.
episode.
That's not fair
No, it
because she's
absolutely
proven
is
wrong
fair.
to us, not to them. Like we know
Bullshit.
the truth because we're the outside
She
observer.
she sees so many things that like
Are
that,
unexplainable, but that doesn't mean it's
but
a
it's still
fucking
evidence.
alien conspiracy.
It's not all. No, I'm not saying because
You have one piece of ammunition you're not even using.
Okay,
You have one piece
relax,
of ammunition you're not
relax.
even using.
X-Files wasn't just about alien conspiracies. It was every form of esoteric, idea and story
But it
and all
all
that kind of shit.
came together because of alien conspiracies. Yes, the government was in on every, but because of alien conspiracy. But
yet
we, as
she
the
never-
viewer,
she
know
never-
because we see the
We see every
talking
side
with
of
the
it.
Smoky
Yeah.
Man. Like, yes, we know the truth, but Mulder and even Scully doesn't know the truth. The one big piece of evidence you're missing is she was impregnated.
Yeah. Well, that was what I was going to get to.
Well,
but
you didn't,
also,
though.
but outside of that, she sees so much evidence. What about the episode where they're stuck in the what is it like some Navy warship where they're in the Bermuda Triangle and they're all they're her and Mulder are aging like way faster. Like in a day
Yeah.
they age
Benjamin
like
Button disease.
40 years.
We see it all
It's
the
like-
time. We see it all the time.
So that happened, and she's like, I don't believe that happened, even though it literally
she
just
did
happened.
believe
to
it
her.
happened, but she tries to like rationalize it. Well, we were so
Because she's
deep
an idiot.
underwater, and
Because she's an idiot. Because she's a fucking idiot. It happens every single episode. She's
Yeah, but
given
then Mulder-
like evidence is thrown at her, and she's like, "Nah, fuck it. The books don't say it, so it's not real. Fuck it." She's a
But,
dummy.
like-
She's a dummy. She's an ignorant dummy. That's what she
But then
is.
we get
She's an
like
ID.
like
She's an
Victor
ID.
Toombs, that guy that like can like break his bones into like the size of like a penny or a quarter and slither through air ducts
Yeah.
and like squeeze through air vents. And like obviously that's probably not fucking real. But like we see it as being real, and we know that Scully, like, oh, well, Scully, you're wrong because it actually did happen. But like we're watching a fantasy TV show with fantasy things. Like maybe it is real. I don't fucking know, but it's probably not. Occam's razor tells us that it's probably not fucking real. Scully's not a dummy.
But okay, so I would say it's like 70-30, like what she actually sees, and she still doesn't believe. The other 30% is like, okay, maybe she can question it and try to rationalize
You
it.
can question all of it.
Well, of course you can question anything if you're dumb
Question
enough.
everything.
You can question everything if you're dumb
Question
enough.
everything.
God damn.
Question everything. Take the stuff with authority. That's Warning
Anyway,
by Green
I
Day.
know
You
what
probably
you
know
know.
that. You probably
my
never heard
God.
that record.
Man Behind the Curtain. Let's move on. I mean, at this point, I do want to talk about intermission thesis of infinite measure.
That's my 6B.
There we go. That's my 4B.
Isn't
Or that's
this
my
like-
it's my 5B. That's probably
Isn't this
my
like some
5B.
kind of like Cedric delivery here? Isn't this is what fucking Cedric does all the fucking time? Maybe this is what will get Skip to listen to this record because he never does anyway, and he only thinks that like, oh, because I haven't heard this before, I'm not gonna like it. So maybe this will get Skip to like this record, is thinking like this is a Cedric, but then he'll probably hate it because
Probably not. Yeah.
it's shitty Cedric.
So yeah, this is it's 2.5 minutes long, and it's more of an interlude, and it kind of starts with this like there's this fade in of this bass line coming in, and then it's spoken word. This whole song or this whole track is spoken word, and I love it. Like it's the first part of it is talking about how the world and society is slowly dying, and then the second half is like him just kind of his escape from it all. Like music is his escape, and he talks about loving people and the world and like kind of bringing it back to like this hippie peace for all, you know. That's what it's just it's fun.
Do you not think this is like invalid letter department though? Like delivery?
A little bit. I get it. Yeah, it's similar to that. Yeah.
Just I'm gonna spit words out that like sound cool together, right? Like the silhouette of dying.
But also-
Cedric is an idiot.
But so another line. It's the way he enunciates certain words and the way he says certain things. It's like blind star legions hiding in cauldrons, loving girls. And he says, "No, man." He says, "No, man.
No, man.
Play number 11. Play that number 11." Yeah.
He's talking to somebody. Play number 11. Play number 11. Play that fucking track. Yeah.
The scanners are turned off, and I got 30 or 40 more minutes. Relationships in real life are so hard to handle with friendly friends, touching, breathing my way, sultering my wavelength, and my phone ringing. It's just the way.
Silhouette of dying.
God, he has that. It's also the accent that accent he has that just adds to it all. I fucking love this. I fucking love it. It's true. This is truly the kind of like a stream of consciousness for him, and his delivery is fantastic. I love this. This is truly great.
This does sound like a jam song. This sounds like a song that they're just like warming up to, and like the bass player's kind of just getting warm because it takes everyone else an adequate amount of time to warm up for like a rehearsal, but the bass player can just plug in and go because who gives a fuck. So it sounds like the bass player just starts everything off, and then because he can just pick up a mic and just start singing, like that's what this song sounds like. It started as, and then became this, which I think is great because it fits into the image of the band, the lore of the band, and just the aesthetic because it's fucking dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's just word vomit. You're just speaking. You're just talking. Like towards the end of this podcast when we drink too much and we just keep talking and saying the same thing over and over. That's what like this fucking song is.
Nah, man, play number 11. Play that number 11. Yeah.
I don't know what's more dumb. Like, nah, man, nah. Or, yeah. Who are you talking to?
I know.
And what is number 11?
Play that number 11.
Like, what does that even mean?
The scanners are turned off, and I got 30 or 40 more minutes. Love it, man. Dude, it's his delivery. He's so engaging. He's so interesting to just listen to. Like, he's captivating. The way he speaks is so captivating. I love it. Great
He's
frontman.
having a good time.
Great frontman. So I think the last of it
sounds.
And I think you and I would agree. I mean, the suite of this record, of being we believe in science, hijackers, and tough customer. That's not the order that I like them in, but I mean that's the order of the suite. I believe it is, right? We believe in science. Hold on, let me just like. No, it's shit. What is it? Oh no, it's hijackers. I'm sorry, it's hijackers. We believe in science, and then tough customers is the closer. I think of this whole suite. So halfway through the record, you get the second intermission of theme from the 6th grade watercolor. It's just an instrumental, horns and percussion, but then it drops into hijackers. Does that sit anywhere within the bangers for you?
I mean, like if we're picking these, if we're categorizing these into suites, I would say prologue up until what? The curtain is part 1, intermission through Sticks is part 2, and then intermission again towards the end is part 3. It's a 3-part suite.
It is.
There's 3 different songs.
But the reason why I'm taking these three specific songs is because they all bleed into each other.
Right.
So that's the reason why I'm putting them into a suite.
The theme from a 6th grade watercolor may be the worst song because like there's just nothing here. It's truly just an intermission. Like
it's like a minute long.
It's fucking filler to the max. Like it's just there's no words. There's nothing going on. There's barely an instrumental. It's just like T for 2. Ding 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 ding. Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
So like where do you put that? But yeah, no, hijackers. We believe in science ever since like the pandemic too. Like we quote that one more than anything else.
We do, yeah. We quote
anything else.
I mean, the lyric in it is "You believe in your thing, we believe in science." It's like it was fun. It was cool at the time, like in 2006. And I get it, like science. I'm not like an anti-COVID thing or whatever. I just
anti-science.
I'm not anti-science at all, but. Just the lyrics are a little bit cheesy, but
they weren't cheesy then.
They weren't cheesy then,
now because like that rebuttal online now is like, well, you can believe whatever you want, but I'll follow science.
Yeah, it's just
like that has become like this knee-jerk reaction to like I don't agree with you, and I'm going to assert like my potential dominance over you just by saying this thing that is like objectively true. I believe in science. God,
it's become
yourself.
become very arrogant. It's become a very arrogant thing to say, and
that's not an open dialogue. Just to say I'll believe in science. Like, oh my God,
it's like immediately shutting down the other person and not willing to listen to what their thoughts are on any sort of subject, which is just obnoxious. It's just obnoxious.
But this is 20 years ago, right? So like we can't fault him for that. But
exactly.
Now it's so goddamn funny.
It is.
I like it. It's cool. It's cool.
So, I mean, this is once again, this should be just one single song. In the end, so I'm looking right now. Hijackers is 2 minute. Hijackers and We Believe in Science are each 2 minutes long, and then Tough Customer is almost 6 minutes long. So you have about a 10-minute song right here if you were to combine all three of them. And Tough Customer is a great way to end it. This is just what?
It reminds me of a good joke I have.
You want to say the joke?
I mean, do we have 2 or 3 minutes?
We got like 30 seconds.
It's gonna take longer than 30 seconds.
Forget the joke. Yeah. So Tough Customer. This is the end of the suite for me, and this is the best of the three songs. You know, it starts with kind of him like screaming and yelling and preaching, and you know, I do love that delivery with just that kind of basic guitar line kind of ringing out, and then it just everything comes in and then becomes this giant fucking chant, you know, tough, 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 and then it just drops into this punk kind of thrashy song. Fucking love Tough Customer. I love it.
I do love Tough Customer. That's my favorite part. If we're doing the part of the 3-part suite, Tough Customer is my favorite part of this for sure.
It's fantastic.
It's cool because we got like this weird buried kind of like Western-ish guitar strum.
That's
right?
what it is. Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Like it's a Western type of thing.
And the shouts, dude, the shouts always work. Who isn't a sucker for shouts? The shout, like throw me into it, like fucking Motley. The shout. Is that Motley Crue or Poison?
Yeah, shout out the devil. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Motley Crue. That's the Motley Poison's shout.
The Motley
shout.
Poison, yes.
Which, like, dude, Motley Crue, fucking A, man. Like, this band took a lot of inspiration from that first Motley Crue record.
Totally.
And just, like, the overall glam aesthetic. This band's a glam band without the bullshit hair metal or the glam part of it. They're a glam metal band, but they just took the metal part from the glam era.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you on that.
I dig. Dude, and the bridge in this one, too, with him just doing that, like, vocal thing over the bass line.
I know.
Like, what are you doing, bro? You know what I mean? Like, shut the fuck up. Get out of here. Who do you think you are?
Oh, it's great. And also, I love the kind of stuttering that Valiant himself does too. He does the stuttering of the vocals, and it's so. I know. It's kind of like a glottal stop, almost like a glottal stop, almost. And also, just there were moments too where he's singing to the song. So there are moments where he's just yelling out for no reason, not no reason, but he's just kind of screaming, and you don't even know what he's saying. He's just screaming, but it makes sense for the song and the transition of the song. It's also very James Brown. Like there's a lot of James Brown, actually on this whole record, but specifically on this song, hear a ton of James Brown. So just hyping, just hyping people up. So I love it. I fucking love it. I don't know. That's what I got for this one, for this suite. I'm sure we could go deeper, but we're an hour and 20 in almost. So do you have anything else to say on this record?
No, except that this is probably one of the most sweatiest, disgusting men I've ever touched in my life.
What was it? I forgot.
That's probably accurate, right?
What venue were we at where was it House of Blues maybe when we saw him one time where he jumped you and I were on the barricade, I believe, and he jumped down and his belly, his stomach, his hairy stomach, sweaty stomach was like just rubbing up on us.
I think we were both kind of like, ooh.
Where were we at? I think it might have been
Glass House.
Yeah, I think it was Glass House. Yeah. God damn, dude. But he's such a great front man that it's just like, who cares? It's just like,
Shouldn't have been there, right? We knew he was going to do it, and he did it anyway, and we were still surprised. But like, I was just surprised at how fucking just drenched he was.
So sweaty. But I mean, once again, I mean, he's up there. It's like he's jazzercising, man. He's putting on a fucking phenomenal show. And then also, you know, even back when I first saw them when they opened for Bullets, up until I saw them last time with Palmer in Portland, he was doing the canoe thing where it was during the breakdown. I think it was during the breakdown of Man Behind the Curtain. He would jump down into the crowd. He would jump right in the center of the entire audience, and he would get everybody around him to sit on the ground with him, like canoes, like Indian style, like legs crossed. Like what is it? Crisscross applesauce.
They call it crisscross applesauce now.
Crisscross applesauce, Indian
fucking
style.
Dick.
Everybody sits around, and then everybody starts canoeing, like they're rowing a canoe, rowing a boat.
I don't know if I would canoe. I don't know. Maybe like
I've never done it.
I don't think I would do it.
I don't think I never did it because I was always a little bit farther away, so I didn't do it. But he always get everybody to do it while the buildup was happening in the song, and then everybody would kind of jump up and it would go fucking crazy. He'd start circle pitting with people, moshing with people, and then he'd get back up on stage, and it was just it was so much fun. Like, goddamn, dude. What a great! I mean, it's so funny. Stupid, but it's so much fun.
You know what else is funny about the music video for Curtain was when he throws the mic up on the rafters and it wraps around. Like, first of all, like it would never wrap around a fucking rafter like that. Right? That makes no sense. And then he swings from it like this,
like Tarzan. He swings around like the entirety of the audience in the venue, like he's fucking Tarzan, and he swings back onto the stage.
That was fucking cool. Like that was probably my favorite part actually of that thing was when he did that, because it makes no sense and that would never happen. It's so stupid, but fuck it.
But that's Valient Thorr.
It's a music video, baby. Yeah. Do whatever we want.
Do whatever you want. Love Valient Thorr. God, this band is so good. So good. Let's give our final thoughts on this record, on this band, or let's just say. Final thoughts on this record, based off of our and then we'll rate it based off of our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. What do you got?
I'm dying.
All right.
This is rock and roll music, right? Rock and roll music is meant to be easily digestible. Ask AC/DC that. They know. They've made a career out of it. So if you can put rock and roll music into the hands of like everybody, to where like who is this for, right? Like this isn't for a specific type of person, a demographic, an age group. This is like literally for everybody. The only thing putting people off of this is the spoken word part. And I think that's what makes Valient Thorr Valient Thorr. If it wasn't for the spoken word part, they would just be like another Wolf Mother. And Wolf Mother, again, I think their first record is fucking great.
Great, yeah.
But it's still just like rock and roll. And like rock and roll just hasn't really existed in the capacity we think it has since like the 70s. We've gone further from that. So the shtick that Valient Thorr has, did you open a beer or something?
No, I dropped something.
You gonna pick it up?
Picked it up, baby, right here.
Dropped your remote. Turning on cameras or something. Huh. So I think.
Okay. Who cares? Continue. The worst.
I think Valient Thorr shines in their shtick. Like a shtick is very hard to do and very hard to I don't know, push upon people, because if it doesn't work, like you're dead in the water, right? Mm-hmm. Like if people were not receptive to him speaking like this, they'd be dead in the water. They would not have progressed past the first couple shows they did prior to the first record. Mm-hmm. But he's one of the best frontmans of all time, for sure. He's not top 10. He's not. That's just silly boy talk. Top 20 for sure. I might even put him top 15. But that's why it works. That's why it works, is because of Valient himself. I don't know.
What are you going to give this record?
Because I want to give it a high score, but like, who gives a fuck, right? Like I don't know. And no, fuck that. This is like a 2.8. This is a 2.8. This is 2.8 because I do think that in 50 years from now, 100 years from now, when like 100 years, I almost said 100 years when archaeologists are digging up our bones. 100 years from now, I said, as if Oh, that's so dumb.
You're an idiot.
Which is possible. This is possible.
It is possible, but unlikely.
Let's say 10,000 years from that's an easier thing
It makes
to say.
more sense. Yeah.
Yes, 10,000 years from now, when someone's digging up like my record collection and they're going through my records and they pull like an AC/DC record. I don't have any AC/DC in my record collection, by the way. But let's say they pull like Back in Black and they pull Valient Thorr. They're going to listen back to back and without any knowledge of context or decade or anything. They're going to listen to back and like, damn, those are both really, really fucking good rock and roll records. And I think I really do think this record stands with Back in Black. I do.
Okay. I agree. Honestly.
2.8.
2.8 out of 3. So this record, I don't think it's anything, it's not the most outlandish thing. It's not the most unique thing, but what they created and what they combined into a single record was truly something spectacular. Valiant himself, I mean, it just his vocal delivery, his the way he can command an audience, live, because we've seen them live several times. The way he can command the audience, and also the way he can command you while you're listening to this record, like that's something else. Like the way he can kind of not command. Honestly, command is the best way to describe it. The way he can speak to you on this record is something I've never really heard from any frontman outside of probably David Lee Roth. But David Lee Roth was just so extravagant and just outrageous. But Valient Thorr was just, it was more of like the southern version of it, the preacher-esque kind of delivery of Valiant himself that really sets him apart from anybody else. And his delivery is so unique and it's so all over the place in the best possible way. And when you have a band like this where, the guitars, the drums, the bass, even there's some incredible bass lines on here from Nightwolf. But when you have an incredible band behind you, it's just a recipe for a great fucking record. And with that, I'll give it a 2 out of 3. I mean, not a 3 out of 3. Jesus Christ, when I say 2 out of 3, a 3 out of 3. It's a perfect record. There's nothing. You cannot show me one record that sounds like Total Universe, man. You could show me bands that sound similar to Valient Thorr, but nobody that does it as good as Valient Thorr. Musically, I think, the artwork, the lore of it all. I mean, you look at just like the artwork for Total Universe, man. It's just the 5 of the guys. It's
this
pretty,
is the worst artwork,
but it's still pretty fucking sick.
It's still good, but this is
still
the
pretty
worst.
fucking sick. Also, the logo, the Valient Thorr logo, it has that very 1970s kind of over the top, weird dude like spray painting on the side of your uncle's van, kind of that kind of that kind of trope, So there's that, but also they kind of labeled their fans the Thorriers, and they had chapters all throughout the world. You have your Orange County chapter, you have your North Carolina, your Raleigh chapter, this chapter, that chapter, and they made it kind of like just kind of this like exclusive club almost. And goddamn, dude, the marketing, musically, vocally, like everything about this band is truly perfect. Everything about this band is perfect. So that, I mean, I give this, and in the end, I give this record a 3 out of 3. It's truly ambitious.
It's an aggressive score, dude.
It's an aggressive score,
dude.
It's an aggressive score. But yeah, you get to an album like Immortalizer, which I love that record so much. But that is a very straightforward rock, metal, thrash kind of record. But this one is truly doing something different. It's a concept record. There's all kinds of shit going on here, but it still hits equally as hard as Immortalizer. Even when you take the nostalgia out of it, it hits equally as hard as Immortalizer, but just in a slightly different way.
So you think this record is just as good as Incesticide, is what you're saying?
From Nirvana? Yeah, I would say that.
Oh, that's fucking good. That was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, I guess you're the only one laughing. So
no, I know Skip will like that one.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Make sure you to go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. Once again, thank you for listening. This is a fun episode. The next several episodes are going to just be bands that we fucking really like, and we're tired of doing shit bands that we don't like. So.
Fuck Stained, fuck Kiss. God damn.
So it's
Kiss
going to
is
be
worse than Stained.
honestly, let's call this fun season. We're in fun
Yeah.
season right now.
How about not? Let's call this not shit season. That's what we should call this.
Yeah,
Not shit.
This
season.
is not shit season on the
Yeah.
podcast. So
Fucking
thank you,
A.
thank you all for listening, and that's it. That's all.